Chapter 21. The Eggharts are disgusted. It was Leopold, the Eggharts' snooty manservant, who had brought the appalling news to his employers. "I had it from the filing clerk in the office below the lawyers. She's engaged to the boy who cleans up for Gerhardt and Funkel, and he swears it's true. He carried it to the storeroom." "But that's outrageous! It can't be allowed. I've never heard anything so shocking," said Herr Egghardt. "The trunk belongs to our great aunt. She had no business to leave it to that little kitchen girl," said his wife. "No business whatsoever." "But, Mamma, you said it's just rubbish in the trunk. You said I couldn't use it even to dress up," said Lomery. "So it is rubbish, and probably full of germs too. But that has nothing to do with it." Frau Egghart's bosom was definitely heaving. "It was our great-aunt, so it is our trunk." "Actually, it was my great-aunt," said her husband. "All the same, it's an impertinence. How dare she leave it away from family after all we did for her, giving her a home, nursing her with such loving care," said Frau Egghardt. "I'm going to get to the bottom of this," said Herr Egghardt. "Perhaps that kitchen child blackmailed her." "Annika could be very cunning," said Lomery. "I'm going across to the professor's house. It's an insult to the family." The professors were at home, but not pleased to be interrupted. When Sigrid announced the Eggharts, they gathered themselves together and came downstairs. "What can we do for you?" asked Professor Julius politely. "You can get your cook's adopted daughter to return our great-aunt's trunk," roared Herr Egghardt, and the professor stepped back as Herr Egghardt's voice, known as the loudest in Vienna, hurt his ears. "The trunk she stole from us by making up that poor old lady as she lay on her deathbed," put in Frau Egghardt. "I can think of nothing more disgusting than cheating someone out of their property when they are no longer in their right mind," said Herr Egghardt. Professor Julius had been taught by his mother not to hit people who came to the house. But sometimes he wished that he hadn't. "Why don't you sit down?" he said. And then, "It is true that the lawyers told us that Fräulein Egghardt left a bequest to Annika. But as you know, she no longer lives with us. We gave Annika's new address to the lawyers, and they said they would send the trunk to her mother, to Frau von Tannenberg, to give to the child." "Well, I'm not going to leave the matter there," said Herr Egghardt. "The trunk must be returned to us." The lawyers gave us to understand that the contents of the trunk only had a sentimental value, old keepsakes from her days in the theatre and so on. Frau Egghardt gave an indignant snort. "Are you suggesting it would not have had a sentimental value for us?" "It was our great-aunt," roared Herr Egghardt. And Emil remembered Richard Lionheart, at the sound of whose voice horses were said to kneel. Lomery, meanwhile, had crept out of the drawing-room and made her way to the kitchen. "Your Annika's a thief," she said. Ellie was sitting in the wicker chair, shelling peas. She had lost a lot of weight, and she looked tired. But her voice, when she spoke to Lomery, was firm and strong. "Get out of my kitchen," she said, "and fast." That night in bed, under the goose-down duvet for which so many Hungarian geese had given their lives, the Eggharts were still muttering angrily. "I'm going to write to Frau von Tannenberg. The trunk went to her. She will make Annika give it back. And if not, we'll sue." "I've got a better idea," said Frau Egghardt. "You know we're going to Bad Hexenfeld at the end of the month. Well, it's only about an hour's drive from there, Tannenberg case. Remember, you looked it up? If we call on her and take her by surprise, she won't have time to make up excuses. Herr Eggharts nodded. Yes, that might do. Perhaps I could get leave from the office a little earlier. He pushed his legs out of bed. I'll be glad to get Dr. Becker onto my varicose veins. They're giving me a lot of trouble. Yes, Becker's a good man, but I've never met anyone who understood my esophageal sphincter like that young French doctor in the massage room. Your what? My sphincter, said his wife patiently. The ring of muscle between my stomach and my gullet. I told you, it's beginning to leak. She yawned and settled herself back on her pillow. They say they've got a new treatment, she murmured. Something to do with seaweed? In the middle of the night, Herr Eggharts turned over, restlessly. She was my great-aunt, he muttered angrily, and slept again.